I don't know when this happened, when we started to get every month celebrating some oppressed minority, even though they're the majority of people in the world. But all of a sudden, like, it started, I'm pretty sure it started with Black History Month in February, but when did, or what came first? Okay, Pride Month in June, or was it Women's History Month in March? I seem to recall, at least a few years back, March 8th, thank God it's not a day later, on my birthday, by the way, but March 8th, okay, March 8th became Women's History Day or some goofy stuff like that, or a day like every other day where we need to go ahead and put women on a pedestal, otherwise you're called a bigot or a misogynist. As you can tell, I don't buy into any of this crap, obviously, but it would be one thing if it was simply a celebration of the modern woman by leveraging, your IPs, your franchises, your, big corporations that, I don't know, you think needs to validate your existence, otherwise, you're going to join 42% of another marginalized group. It's like, imagine living such a pathetic and shallow life. But because that isn't enough, that you don't have Barbie dressed up like Rosie the Riveter telling you that you can do it too, ladies, and you can do it in heels better than any man possibly can, unless of course that involves opening a pickle jar. You need to have the rest of these cucked industries and these cucked IPs come out and go, hey women, we're here for you too. Even though our own fan base is long-suffering, and while there are female fans of Halo, it is by no means the majority. And then when this franchise was really cooking, they weren't worried about pandering to everybody. Everybody who has ever picked up an Xbox controller had played a Halo game before. But ever since they decided to push the whole game development side of Bungie, well, at one time was Bungie and then 343 Studios and now the new Halo Studios, when they decided to get out of the game development side of things and started to embrace the social causes side of stuff, they really haven't been doing anything great at all. Big shock, right? And this one right here, this just, because it bugs me so much, because I used to be such a big fan of Halo. It's right up there with Rock Band and Guitar Hero, Final Fantasy, as the franchise that I've dedicated the most time to, probably in all of entertainment. Like, it's definitely top 3 easily. And to see what it's become, to just witness the atrophy of this once great franchise, and for it to be simply reduced to a way for Microsoft, Xbox, and the hacks at Halo Studios to push their own ideological message, I would be more upset by it if it wasn't so expected at this point in time, and just so pathetic, because Halo pushes feminist messaging in Women's History Month social media posts, sparks backlash from longtime fans. And yeah, another reason is just because it's hilarious, right? Because you see these simps in Congress right now. Let me just go ahead and divert just a little bit, okay? It'll make sense, trust me. We'll circle back around to this here for a second. But all of the losers complaining about how the Democrats voted along party lines, right? Vote against a bill that would keep men out of women's sports. It's funny how men are always painted as the antagonist in all of these endeavors when it's not the mentally ill that you should be going after, but I digress. You will have society, the lawmakers, the tastemakers, and your influencers up at the top, always wanting to protect the validity and the sanctity of women's spaces. But when it comes to male spaces, they are always the ones that are under attack. They've been under attack for decades, generations at this point in time. Take a look at golf country clubs, you take a look at gentlemen's clubs, and no, I'm not talking about the ones with, cheesy 80s music and a disco ball. I'm talking about the proper ones with, like the wood-paneled walls and the, high-backed armchairs. You're not allowed to have those because those are sexist organizations. But then at the same time, hey, all of you bigots over there, you need to go ahead and protect our lesser sports league because there's a bunch of guys that are trying to, exploit these loopholes that we overwhelmingly support, but now that it's directly affecting us, now you need to go ahead and put on your white cloak and your shining armor and come save the damsel in distress, until a point where, you clean up all of our messes and then we can kick you out because we don't like beta simps anymore. We're just, useful pawns in this equation. That's exactly what's happening with Halo. That's exactly what's happening with video gaming. The industry was cooking. It was at its absolute creative peak when it was a bunch of sweaty guys in a garage just making games for the love of it. Not this industrialized, homogenized bullshit factory that just pumps out slop after slop after slop just because Jessica and Bianca have a 2 or a 4-year gender studies degree, and that's what you need to get employed by the HR department of Microsoft so you can come in and fuck up Gears of War. I've said it before and I'll continue to say it again until I am proven false. The industrialization of creativity is what has led to this societal standstill. Because you take a look at the people pushing this stuff, specifically in this instance, because that's the example we have pulled up here, and these are the people that don't give a shit about Halo. These are the people that couldn't care less and wouldn't be able to properly articulate what FPS stands for. They're thinking that it stands for food and perm simulator. Like, they have no concept of what this is. They see it as an easy paycheck, and because there are certain hiring practices that these companies need to employ, they can go ahead and mess something up. And if they do, oh, their friend over there at the EA, or I would have said Ubisoft, but they're about to close, and then just, get absorbed by Tencent. Whatever, man. They can just take, these contractor jobs or these consultancy firm work positions and bounce around and ruin everything. It's the same life cycle, man. You allow one simp to bring his girlfriend. Oh, guys, I know we're having such a great time, okay? But you know who's really hilarious? Oh, Gretchen. She tells, you should hear her knock-knock jokes. They're absolutely hilarious. Guys that are shit with women, trying to get them in the front door, and then before you know it, the entire place is taken over and it resembles nothing what you remember it as. But perhaps I'm being hyperbolic. Perhaps I'm not giving you the full and honest view about what's happening over here at Halo. So let's take a look. The Halo franchise, once a dominant force in the gaming industry, continues to stray further from its roots. The latest controversy, Microsoft's Halo Studios decided to roll out not one, but two separate posts celebrating Women's History Month, promoting in-game content themed around feminist messaging. Yeah, instead of, promoting that you have a couple of really strong female characters in Commander Keys, and at one point in time, the face of your fucking franchise, Cortana, who actually had a good working relationship with Chief, and that is something that could have been celebrated, but no. Now you need to just go ahead and push all of these feminist talking points. Rather than rallying its core audience, these posts ignited a wave of backlash from the gaming community, which has grown increasingly frustrated with the studio's ongoing efforts to cater to an audience that is largely uninterested in the franchise. That's, you know what? Hey man, for as much apathy as I'm used to seeing and used to experiencing whenever I view this stuff, people are starting to get closer to the actual issue as to why all of this stuff has taken a massive dump in recent years. There used to be a point in time where you would see commentators get real close to that line of saying, hey, you know what the problem here is? Women's innate solipsism and these subversionist hags coming in and trying to ruin men's fun. It's almost like they would always just take this hard left whenever they approach this very inconvenient intersection. But at least now they're starting to get a little bit closer. Okay, they're at least starting to do a slow roll, okay, past that stop sign. They aren't fully stopping and assessing the root problem, but I suppose this is progress, not perfection. So yeah, once again, allow me to reiterate this. It's not that there aren't female fans of Halo. It's just a majority of the Halo fan base is not female. There you go. And it never will be. It's the exact same shit that has happened with, everything that Disney has bought up in the past couple of decades, and Marvel and Star Wars, trying to stick a chick in it, make it lame and gay, and instead of having a thriving fan base, now nobody likes it. But hey, at least there's a woman there, and if you don't like it, we'll just call you bigots and misogynists, and now everybody's just throwing their hands up and going, yeah, call me whatever the hell you want. Good. But we have the post here that is just absolutely cringe, and what, are you trying to promote the Romanian flag or something like that? That makes no sense. And you can see, they've locked the comments because they're so, strong in their convictions. This Women's History Month, we honor the women whose brilliance, drive, and creativity continue to inspire change within our industry, studio, and community. Can you point to any of them specifically? Oh yeah, you normally could in the likes of Amy Hennig, but then you'd have to reconcile with her being pushed out of Naughty Dog by a male feminist and Neil Cuckman. Yeah, that'd be a very tough conversation, right? And we rise by lifting each other. Bullshit. Log in this month and claim your Women's History Month, armor, coating, visor, and emblem collection. It's like, that shit's AIDS, by the way. Like, just look at that. It's, I don't know, your monkeypox pattern. Like, it's just really bad. Like, who would actually want that? Something so high visibility in an FPS, but whatever, man. As you can see, it's getting rave reviews right there. So much so that they have to lock the replies. Or what about, in celebration of Women's History Month, we salute strong female characters like Cortana, who reminds us, you can do it. Oh god, how cringe is this? Okay, so yeah, you got, so you have Cortana as stupid Rosie, the propagandist riveter. How fantastic. But yeah, no Commander Keys, nothing like that. Strong female characters like Cortana. Well, I would argue, in the original trilogy, she was a fantastic character. And then when her mind went all floopy in 4, I legitimately can't remember. I seen that it just got re-released for the Master Chief Collection. I gotta go back and play 4. Like, it's been a long time. I remember that final boss battle was fucking stupid. God, man, that game was bad. And then, yeah, I've only played like 2 chapters of 5, so who even gives a shit and even knows what's going on at this point in time? And Infinite, like, don't even make me laugh. The response by the fan base was immediate, with players questioning why Halo, a series known for intense sci-fi battles and military themes, well, it used to be, was it being used as a vehicle for corporate DEI messaging. Well, I mean, yeah, as you could see, right, like that whole rainbow flag thing that was put out, what, Pride Month 23, 22? Like, it's been a minute, and then, yeah, that's just been the avatar of here's what 343 and now Halo Studios gives more of a shit about than Master Chief, who at one point in time was rivaling Mario as the face of gaming. Let's not forget that, man. In the early to mid 2000s, Halos 1, 2, and 3 were the medium-defining franchise, okay? There's a reason why, you know, okay, normally there's dominant genres in a certain point in time. Right now we're seeing Souls-likes with just about everything, but now we're starting to ease out of that and move into more action-based, Devil May Cry type stuff. We're starting to see that kind of splinter off a little bit. The Souls-like will probably still be dominant for a little while, but yeah, we're starting to see more stylized gameplay, which I'm a big fan of, by the way. It's very much what the Final Fantasy VII remake and rebirth and that trilogy, that's what they're doing out there, Final Fantasy in general. I got to play 16. Eventually got to get around to 16 because I hear, you know, an awful lot of good things about the combat system there. But yes, highly flashy, highly stylized, but that's what's going on, okay? And then especially during the Sega Genesis, Super Nintendo era, there was a whole bunch of fighting games and platformers as well. If you had a relatively popular IP somewhere else in entertainment, and if you wanted to have a video game tie-in, you would make it a platformer. Or if it was a big bombastic, you know, ensemble cast, you would make it a fighting game. And then during the time of the halcyon days of Halo, everything was a first-person shooter. Now look at it. It's a franchise that elicits apathy and mockery whenever they do something stupid like this. It's pathetic. But yes, the backlash wasn't just about the content of the post, but a growing pattern. Microsoft has routinely used Halo's platform for similar messaging, from its annual Pride Month celebration to Black History Month posts. Yeah, we talked about those as well. God, that was cringe. While these initiatives might play well for in corporate boardrooms, no, not really. I don't even think at this point. Halo's traditional audience, primarily male gamers who grew up with the franchise's gritty, battle-torn storytelling, continues to express frustration at the direction that the brand has taken. And yeah, you could just go ahead and apply that argument all the way to the formation of 343 Studios. Like, Halo Reach was, for a lot of people and myself included, like just the final send-off for Halo. Bungie, before they ended up going completely insane themselves, gave us one final great Halo game that we could effectively say au revoir to. Because now you have the likes of this heading up Halo Studios, chief of staff, a diversity hire. How fantastic. Them putting out stupid Women's History Month posts instead of doing anything with the Halo IP. But at this point in time, I don't even want them to do anything with the Halo IP, because the last time we seen them, when they did their big rebranding halfway through 2024, they said, oh yeah, we're going to go ahead and take Halo back to its core. We're going to go ahead and return it to its roots, because it's all about strong visuals. Fuck. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.